I've been curved a lot. But in terms of
yo, time out, yo. You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in
to the Juxtaposition Podcast. Welcome to episode 8 of the Juxtaposition Podcast, aka the Extraordinary Nobodies. My name is Travaris. We got Cleveland here.
going on.
We got James.
Yo, what's up?
We got KV.
Yo.
And we got CEO.
What it do? What's going on with you?
Did you mean to rhyme? Was that on purpose?
No, I didn't actually. I caught it like, damn, why I say that? All right, damn, why I say that?
I don't be knowing with Zoe sometimes. You want to come up. Zoe's that dad that makes those jokes that was funny back in our time, but like to his kids, and they be like, bro.
Yeah,
dad joke.
No, that's Amber. Amber be like, yo, you're embarrassing.
Yo, I wanted to start this episode with a PSA that I saw on Instagram earlier, and the post said, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you got decorative towels in the bathroom, they get used to dry my hands.
Oh.
I was like,
that's what they're there for.
I mean, that's what I think. Some people really have these decorative towels to not be used. Like, what the fuck are they in the bathroom for?
But they probably also keep paper towels in the bathroom. So you use the paper towels.
If there are no paper towels. If there are none.
Yes.
If there are none,
then shake dry. Shake dry.
Shake dry.
If they don't got no paper towels and they got decorative, they deserve all they get.
Ain't no
Get the fuck out of here. If these
utility. I'm leaning on some decorative pillows right now. My wife.
These frills getting all this moisture, nigga. This shit.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's more house rules. It's like, oh, these are the house rules. We just don't touch the decorative towels, but the other towels we touch. But I guess guests can break the rules, you know?
That's what I'm saying. It's the guest aspect. Like, if I go wash my hands, especially in the age of COVID, you look around like, this pink drink got to get it. I don't know, man.
Is that like the good China? Like, you don't touch that glass until
facts. Yeah, like black. Sure. We as black people have decorative things that we spent money on that we really can't use, like non-functional items, like couches.
Yeah,
whole rooms.
Yo,
a white room. What do why can't we sit on the couch that is bought to be sat on?
Parents had a whole room with white furniture. We was not allowed to sit in there.
Makes no sense.
We got in trouble
for the guests to see when they come over.
Exactly.
But it's pointless too, because the guests can't sit on it. Oh, that's a nice. Like, they might as well just look at a picture.
They got a white room.
Yeah, so here's the PSA. If you got decorative towels in your bathroom, they're getting used by guests. So,
or you better have some paper towels.
I have no decorative towels in my bathroom.
I mean, shout out to you. We don't have no guests, so.
Paper towels. Them decorative towels be expensive though.
They do.
Be high thread count and stuff, like matching, and I ain't got time for that.
You get the joints from fucking Tommy Hilfiger joints.
Who?
You be getting the name brand. Towels.
The designers.
Towel? No. No.
You better take your ass to Kohl's.
I see James got some Gucci.
I go to Walmart. Nah, don't see. He's bugging.
Hold on. By the way that James denied that, I believe it now.
Nah. My towels are straight from Walmart. That's it, man. Don't even got a thread count.
I am too bougie for Walmart.
Put water on it. Huh?
I'm too bougie for Walmart though. That's a fact. Like, I'm Target straight up. I feel like when I walk into Walmart, my net worth decreases by like $30K.
I mean, it's a possible. Listen, I go what's convenient. If the Target's close, I'll go to the Target. But unfortunately, Walmart seems to always be where I'm at. So
there was another one too.
But I'll tell you one thing. This episode is about persistence, and I tell you, there is no store that has been more persistent and not going out of business than Kmart. Kmart been going out of business for 15, 20 years. They ain't gone yet.
No, I mentioned that. Like, there was a store.
I haven't seen one in a minute.
Nah, son, they trying to hold on for dear life.
Yeah, they playing by the hold up a thread.
Definitely thought they were gone.
I respect they grit though.
You ever see that video of the dude who was stealing clothes from Kmart, but he was acting like he was breakdancing? And he was like,
no.
Breakdancing, he would like tuck a shirt inside of his shirt.
Oh, nah.
You got Google.
Nah, I ain't seen that.
That might have been I think their sales went up after that.
I mean, what sales? You got to find a store first.
Hey, look, they hanging on.
Anyway, transition into how y'all week been. How has your week been, Cleveland?
My week has been good, man. I've been working hard. Work is crazy, but my week has been pretty good. Today, I told y'all about how my family has those services during the week, like the Zoom services. So today, I spoke at the Zoom service. I delivered.
Hey.
That was a good time. So that was cool, man. So far so good. It's straight.
And for the listeners, Cleveland used to have, and I'm going to put an emphasis on used to because he stopped, had these midday wisdom. This was it, Wednesday wisdom, kicking it with Cleveland. What was it that you used to do?
Kicking it with Cleveland. He did not say kicking it with Cleveland.
Midweek motivation, man. And I'm
midweek motivation.
I'm glad that you said that because the message that I delivered today, I'm going to post it next Wednesday.
My guy. No, like for y'all who don't know,
with Cleveland. I'm still done on that.
Kicking it with Cleveland used to have this smooth,
Jonesing with Jermaine.
Used to have this smooth jazz intro. It's like, what is this? Why do I feel better? I just felt better listening to the shit.
I switched it up one time, and that's when I did a message based on Chris Cross Warm It Up, and I had Warm It Up in the joint. That was it.
Warm it up, Chris.
Yeah.
Terrible.
KV, what's going on in your world? How was your week, bro?
It's pretty good, to be honest. I feel like got a lot of things moving, and I'm like in a settled place. So things feel kind of like great, but I'm also looking to kind of like take on some new things right now at the current moment. I mean, my wife had a great time at dinner tonight. It was actually like felt like a date in house. I'm still kind of like.
About it. Tell us about it. Inspire us.
So for whatever reason, she's been like training hard with her new transition at work, and I had to take on more domestic roles. But we share those roles. Domestic doesn't necessarily mean for cooking and cleaning.
Right.
Whoever does that. So I've been living it up a little bit that way. So I wanted to cook for her. So we cooked, and we had a great dinner, had a great conversation, and part of that conversation was just really about inspiring each other. So we came up with a challenge for the month of August, and we both want to jump on something real quick. Okay. And really it's like just getting up at 6 a.m. to start, right? Like just saying, look, we're just going to get up at 6. Why? Just because Monday through Friday. Like, you know, so that I told y'all, I feel like I got to do it now. But
we're going to be checking. I'm going to be checking.
You know I'll be up. You know I'll be up too.
Yeah. And not for anything, but just for the idea of just getting a head start on the day and kind of come up with a routine that we can kind of like follow. And I'm not somebody who really like routines, but they're always necessary in real time for discipline and things of that nature. So, I do want to exercise that. So we're going to jump on that. So a long story is that I felt complacent, satisfied, challenged, busy, cool all at the same time in a weird way. And we were trying to discuss why. We were trying to discuss that gap. We're trying to figure out why, like what could we do with that gap. I pretty much feel like this is where I should remain for some period of time. But she wants to push a threshold, and I respect that. So going back and forth with that today was kind of like part of our conversation, and that's kind of where I'm at currently. So it's just like felt good, and after that conversation, we left inspired, got some goals, and now just like enjoy the last couple of days, however, and get ready to like activate whatever we're trying to accomplish in the month of August.
Fire, bro. that's the stuff that I think should be recorded, because I think people should kind of hear, those inspirational conversations that happen between a young Black married couple. And how do you stay motivated? How do you, how do you begin to strategize about how to motivate each other, stay inspired? Thanks for sharing, bro. James, what's going on with you? How was your week?
Not much, man. My week has been good, man. I've been doing basically, in terms of work-wise, nothing, because I'm kind of Tommy right now. I ain't got no job anymore.
Ain't got no job.
But I'll start back working again in a couple weeks. I think like the 10th or something like that. I start back up of August. So I just been chilling, man. But I've been trying to eat better and work out now that I'm not doing anything else. So I started to buy my pre-cooked meals from a company. So I get two a day, one for lunch, one for dinner, and I kind of work on my own breakfast. And then I just been running outside and come inside and do a HIIT workout.
Dedication, because it's degrees outside right now.
I'm about to say, that's that New Jersey heat. That's that.
Yeah, get out there early. So I've been doing that. I'm trying to. That's kind of like the routine I'm trying to work on now. Just make sure I eat right and just work out little by little every day and just get better.
Mm-hmm.
See where I go from there.
Dope. Hey, Zoe, how about you? What was your week like?
It was an interesting week. It was a Libra week. It was a balanced week. So I had and when I mean balanced, for me, it was some good things. And then, of course, I always average at least one curse out for the week. So that sounds pretty good. I
definitely averaging a triple single in curse
triple
out.
Single. Exactly. So my sister had her party. It was like a going away kind of shindig, something light, because she'd be going to law school and probably within the next 3 weeks.
I ain't gonna lie, Florida. I had FOMO watching y'all send Morgan off to grad school, man. I was like,
yeah, man, those pictures look fun.
Yeah, man.
Nah, we had a blast, man. It was cool. Morgan coordinated it. I did pretty much all the cooking. My mom didn't really even. She was like, that's on y'all. So she chilled. But we had a good turnout, and we had 2 surprise guests. My cousins flew from Michigan, Darnell and his brother Darvin. So that was cool. I hadn't seen them in a while, in well over 7-8 months or something like that. So we always average to see each other at least once a year. And they needed it too to get out because they've been quarantined. They've been stuck in the house.
I'm sure.
And it was something it was just fun, reminiscing. Always jokes is what we do. So it was pretty cool. And I actually got a refund from that story I told y'all last week with the camping. I got a refund for one of those days. Yeah. So I got it was the booking.
Take that, Camping Karen.
Yeah, word. So Camping Karen definitely had to issue me my bread back. So that definitely that made it a good week. Well, I got me a couple extra $100.
So I'll get to well, thank you, Zoph, and just to sprinkle a little bit more on top. Fuck that lady, and I hope you give her a stern talking to, and I hope the Yelp review was worth it. So my week was a bit up and down. So I told y'all last week that last Tuesday my company did a bit of some reshuffling, let go of 1,000 people. So last week was a wash work-wise, and I kind of just been I was not chilling, but you have an emotional roller coaster when stuff like that happens. On top of civil unrest, on top of COVID, it's just it's a lot going on, and on top of being in the house. So this weekend was more tried to be chill, but it's whenever I find myself in spaces where it's I don't know what to do, I'll just start working on something, try to stay productive. But last week is no major milestones except for the fact that I feel I've been up today, down tomorrow. It's just trying to find some kind of balance in in the ecosystem, because there's still a lot going on. And just because I want to say this to the viewers, just because we're not choosing to touch on some of the topics that are more heavy right now doesn't mean we're not thinking about them. It just so happens that we try to use this outlet to be uplifting, kind of give some action items from things we've experienced, but the things that are happening in the world, like Breonna Taylor, are still fresh in our minds and the top of our brains. So, but with all those things going on, it kind of gives me. I've just been like up and down, some kind of subconscious movements that kind of I don't even know what's at play. You kind of just dealing with the world as is, and it kind of just becomes a lot. So I've just been up and down transparently.
That's cool. That's good to hear, man. We appreciate you sharing that and saying that, because I think within the weeds of great energy, there's also like this underlying fight still that we're not going to forget about.
Right.
It's just that we can't it's a balance that Zoe mentioned earlier, and that's why I received that so well, because that's what the season is about. And so yeah, I appreciate you sharing that transparency for sure.
Thanks for the affirmation, Kev. It's a realization. I had a conversation with Tiff 2 days ago. Sometimes when things get too much, I realize that I'm here alone, right? I'm in California by myself. Y'all are in different states. Y'all are the people who I call family. And the next person that I have to me that is really blood family is in Kentucky. So sometimes you just want to just be yourself. And not to say I can be myself in my own house. That's not the case, but sometimes you need the camaraderie, that personal connection with your friends and the people who've known you for X amount of years. And I think I was yearning for that this week. And it's just like, I got to just I just got to go to Jersey. I just got to figure it out. I got to just check in because I need that connection.
Absolutely.
Well, you know where we at. Bring your ass on.
I know. But I don't know. Jersey be wilding with the COVID too. I seen people in New York and the Bronx going stupid. Like,
and Queens too.
Nah.
Queens,
Zoe
yes.
had this party at his house, man.
No.
Zoe brought the whole Jackson to his parents' crib.
I believe it.
I had to shut it down.
Yo, there was a real ass article. I was like, it was in the back of my mom's development. We was leaving, and I seen mad cops flying. So I was like, nah, let me be nosy. This how you know, like, I've been living in the suburbs, because usually in the hood, usually like I'm going the opposite way.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, I'm in the car, so I'm like, I got ladies, the whole family with me, so I'm like, yo, let me roll around the corner. I start slow rolling, and I see state troopers, Jackson police, and Howell, like a whole nother town. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? Who died? I see an ambulance. Everything. So I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
they bored. They ain't got nothing going on.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, this is yeah. So then I'm like, did a cop die? And they trying to like pay respect. When you see stuff like that, you're like, okay. And then on my way home, check Facebook. Saw like mansion party in Jackson, 1,000 people. Twerk
1,000?
No, 700 people.
Yeah, it was like 700.
Yeah, $1,000 for a twerking contest. I'm like, what the hell?
This sound like the SWAT team pool parties back in the day.
Yeah, shout out to Wes and the SWAT team. Remember those at the Flying W?
Actually, I do not remember those. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I do. I'll take the guilt.
Speaking of Zoe, so Zoe, just go ahead and transition to your Zoe knows so we can kind of figure out what's going on in the world this week.
Here we go. Zoe knows this. Zoe knows that. Right. So here we go.
Nigga doing his Zoe was beside himself this episode.
I'm tired. I'm like in a different trance right now. Y'all don't even know.
Hey, first of all, hold on. Let me give y'all the rundown. He done came in with a rhyme. He done described this situation like it's a picture book. He then gave us all the detail of the insider edition of the Jackson party, and he given his own intro for Zoe Knows.
Yeah. I'm a one-man band.
Zoe knows that.
I'm on the road today, baby. I'm shooting from downtown. So here we go. First and foremost, one of my unofficial kinfolk, because of the last name, Lou Williams. Let's go, baby. So
Lemon Pepper Lou.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, so Lou Williams, for all y'all who don't know, who's a sixth man on the Los Angeles Clippers, left the quote-unquote bubble, or as they say, the campus, for the NBA as they're starting to come back into the fold tomorrow, actually. They've been quarantined. They've all been in the bubble. And he left, obviously, usually when you leave, you have to have a good reason to leave. That's what they're saying. Like, so it's almost like you gotta get permission, things of that nature. So Lou Williams went. Apparently, he had a
Went to a
funeral.
funeral.
Yeah, someone in his family passed away, or a close family friend, as they
Mm-hmm.
say. And then on the way back from the funeral, he decides to stop at what's the name of the place? I can't
Magic
remember.
City.
Magic City. I always confuse those with KODs. Like, but yes, he decides to stop at Magic City in Atlanta, where his name is on the menu. Might I add?
Right.
So, but he goes inside, and then my thing is like, if you didn't want to be seen, if you didn't want nothing to happen, you could have just ordered and tell him to come curbside, or sent somebody. You got money, bro. Like, they would have drove that to Orlando for you. Like, the type of money he got.
I'm not trying to hear it, bro.
Not at all.
I'm not trying to hear it, only because to me it's not about the wings. I'm sure that, you know, Magic City has amazing wings. I've heard, you know, in my travels that they have great wings. I haven't tasted them myself. I'm still like Donald Trump. I haven't tasted them, but I've heard that they're fantastic.
Fabulous. They're the best wings ever.
But they're like DoorDash. You right. Somebody could have ran in for him and got him. He in there taking pictures with rappers. Like, bro.
Yes, exactly.
He was trying to live.
I do not think that the NBA has the power to tell people where they can and cannot eat, though. But I think he should have been smarter in his moves and, you know what I mean, and getting caught up.
Yeah, so that was his deal. Because Zion, the second year, well, actually, this is still first year, right?
Yep.
Damn. So the rookie went to a funeral or family emergency as well, and you heard nothing. He was quiet, came back, no problem. So that kind of looks bad, being that Lou Williams is a veteran who's been in the league for quite some time. So that was that. Second on the list in the news, I have something about this old football and angry white men. So there's been rumors that Mike Ditka, the old Chicago Bear coach and player, pretty much has a problem with the protest still, which is beyond.
Are you serious?
I don't even understand. Yeah. And pretty much say y'all got to go back to where you came from. One of those type of comments. Say that. Leave the country. Leave the country. That was his exact. So I'm just trying to figure out what is he talking about? Why y'all still on the whole flag thing? Like, didn't y'all learn from Drew Brees just a minute ago? Exactly.
Hey, well, what it is with Mike Ditka is now like, I don't know what to call him. Like, he's like some kind of chairperson of the XFL, the Women's Football League. And he said that he doesn't want them to protest in the way that like NFL players are protesting.
Hold on, but XFL is not the women. XFL is the wrestling joint.
XFL.
That was the wrestler. You thinking of the other one, the women's joint?
The women's.
I don't know what it's called. I guess WFL.
Yeah. And I ain't gonna say whatever it is. Let's figure out what it is so we can get it right. But he's like a chairperson with them, and he was like he doesn't want them protesting or whatever. So, but he said this about when everything was going on with Cap. Like, he hasn't changed his position. He's just like being more vocal and like adamant against it, and like basically saying like, well, you had this opportunity to play in the United States as a football player, so you shouldn't disrespect the flag, which we all know what that is. That's just a ploy to not talk about the real topic and make the protest about something that is actually not about. It's never been.
And it's also to keep you in line. Like, you're supposed to appreciate this, boy. You might as well say that. Like, your opportunity, boy. Like,
funny. My wife still doesn't understand why boy is a racist term. She's like, I don't
what?
get it. I'm like, no grown man is going to call me a boy. Like, I don't get it though. I'm like, well, you don't let nobody call me a boy in front of your face.
Right. Get the mace ready.
Get the mace ready.
Get the mace ready.
Gun ready.
Yeah, and John Elway apparently said that no one better kneel this year or something like that, or they're going to be terminated as well, which is crazy because I'm waiting to hear Shannon Sharp's view on that, being that
right, because he actually bigs up John Elway pretty frequently, because obviously he played with him for years upon years, and he got him a ring. So I'm anxious to see what he has to say as well.
Yeah, I thought that was a little crazy. Like, come on, Elway. Like, how do you even? Like, I don't know if he said it was rumors or something like that, but I think it's a little weird that even comes out. Like,
but hold on. There's a rare occurrence. There's a rare occurrence that we're talking about the Denver Broncos, and we have the only New Jersey resident who is a Denver Bronco fan on the podcast. James, I'm coming right to you. I need you to speak for your mans. You know what I mean? They said,
Bro,
look,
listen.
if we're thinking about cohesion, earlier we said James Way, and then talk about L Way. I need this to make sense. Make it make sense.
I
James.
can't make sense for what
Don't cry
Elway's
either.
talking about.
Don't cry talking about that's my quarterback.
Nah. See, that's the thing. So John Elway was never the person who made me like Broncos growing up. It was Terrell Davis, right? So Elway was great, of course, but it was TD. But I can't speak for that, man. I mean, come on, like if you saying some crazy stuff, then I can't get down with that. But I would hope that the leaders on that team, like Von Miller, or even the quarterback Drew Lock, who definitely have some look like he liked black culture a little bit because of how he be dancing on the field and the type of music he playing, and seen a couple of videos of him rapping to Jeezy or whatever. So hopefully that these leaders on the team can kind of step up and have those conversations to make sure that he understands what he's talking about and the consequences that come along with those.
Although
I can't speak for him.
I won't rely on the white boy to speak up to his boss about black people. I will go out on a limb and say that he probably will not say something.
Probably, but but I think Von Miller would definitely will. I mean, they had like this whole like the Broncos had this whole thing where they were marching like as a team during the protests and stuff like that. So I think that he's like regardless. I think you'll see them taking a knee during the anthem. So
it's just crazy to me.
Hopefully,
still making this about. Still trying to make this kneeling about the flag. It's just
like they deaf.
Like it's just such a tired excuse. Like, oh, you're disrespecting the flag, and then Shannon Sharp should say something, because he went.
I'm sure he will.
Because he's a Broncos. I mean, he's a Broncos legend. So I know, but don't matter. Like you're not gonna Shannon Sharp not gonna hold his tongue for anybody.
Hell no.
Doesn't matter who you are. So that's why I rock out with Shannon Sharp.
Yep.
But y'all see Dwight Howard's. This is so off topic. Y'all saw Dwight Howard's
mocking him.
It was bad. It was bad, but
it wasn't like Jamie Foxx.
It
wasn't as good as Jamie Foxx, but I didn't think it was too bad.
Nah, it was funny because when he said it, LeBron and AD were walking in and they stopped.
Yeah,
they thought he was actually talking to Skip Bayless. That was funny. But anyway, so last but not least, we just want to give a huge shout out / rest in heaven to the late great John Lewis and C.T. Vivian, two major pivotal people as in the civil rights time frame. John Lewis, 80 years old, C.T. Vivian, 96. John Lewis, part of the Big Six, who organized the March on Washington, and is known for his march at the Edmund Pettus Bridge, which is the movie Selma is based off of, and we all know is Bloody Sunday. C.T. Vivian coordinated the Nashville, pretty much ending and cutting the segregation in Nashville with the mayor Ben West. He got him to sit down and agree that the segregation and the treatment was wrong. So he was instrumental in help teaching actual John Lewis and a couple of other famous civil rights.
I didn't know that C.T. Vivian was 16 years older than John Lewis.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. He looked good though too. I'm like, dang. I'm like, whoa, this dude was 96. That's crazy. So, I just want to, we lost some soldiers. We lost some people that helped us pave the way, that gave us the opportunity that we have today. So, they're gone but never forgotten. And we must also always do our research, look these names up, John Lewis, C.T. Vivian, look up all they've done and think about what they've done that helped contribute to what you have now. And on a final note, I want everybody to know that John Lewis is not the same person as Elijah Cummings.
Elijah Cummings, man,
Okay.
oh man.
They look similar though. They're from the same tribe, but they gotta be. But they're not the
actual
same person.
tribe.
Yeah, they gotta be. But I've seen those side by sides. I've seen people get confused. You know, people thought he was dead already.
Yeah, I think what's his name? Marco Rubio actually posted the picture of
Elijah Cummings. Slow.
All right. So Zoe, thank you for the Zoe knows. So as we shift gears a bit, I feel like all of us have a common theme, right? And one of the common themes that I observe from all of us is that none of us in our careers have taken no for an answer, so to speak. We all have hit roadblocks and obstacles, and that wasn't something that we allowed to stop us. Also, in a more funny way, I've definitely seen us all navigate challenges with a smile, but you knew that this wasn't it. And I don't know why that reminds me of Steve Urkel, but this episode is going to be talking about the Urkel Effect. And if you are not familiar with the Urkel Effect, allow me to explain. If you watch the show Family Matters, Steve Urkel, who is the main character, is in love with Laura Winslow.
Laura Lee.
And I don't know how many seasons of Family Matters it is, but every episode for each season, he is spent chasing Laura Winslow, right? But eventually, he finds the tactics and the tools, and he figures out what he can do to appeal to her, and in the end, he did get her. So what I deduce from that is the Urkel Effect is not just knocking on the door a million times, but it's knocking strategically till the door opens. That does not mean to knock when the knock is not wanted, but it does mean to continue to be persistent in a way that makes sense for you. So I want to open up a question for us. Tell me about a time where persistence has paid off, and you probably got to the point where you're like, I'm about to just stop, but going that extra mile, going that extra step helped you out.
So I could start out with my situation right now. So me trying to find a job after when I decided to go back to get my MBA. So my current career, I didn't like the trajectory as to where I was going. I didn't really like the job. So
your career was Laura.
My career was Laura. Yeah. So I was trying to find that, I was trying to attain to a certain level, and it was definitely difficult because of I currently worked in consumer banking, and I wanted to work more in some type of corporate finance role. So although I had an undergraduate degree in finance, I wasn't getting the bites applying to different jobs. So I was like, well, let me go back and get my MBA and hope that I can use that as a position to kind of get me where I want to be. So after my first year, I applied almost 100 different places. Right. But before that, I was applying to things, and I just kept constantly getting those emails like, thank you for your consideration, this and that. But we decided to go with someone else.
AKA AKA nah. They should have just put nah. Don't even make me read. Just nah.
Seriously. Yeah, we didn't select you. That's it. Put it in the subject line. We didn't select you.
Yeah.
Just delete that one. Right? There's no need for anything else. Because you're reading it, hopefully, and then you get to the third line, and it's like, we decided to move on. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, what you mean? You just told me that before.
Exactly. So I'm like, all right, this is kind of crazy because I'm applying to these jobs and I'm not getting anything back. So I'm thinking nothing's going to come from this. And the ones that I was getting, people hitting me up for jobs I didn't want at all. And that was just other type of sales roles, like financial advisor roles, which I just wasn't into that. Not right now in my life. That's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I went back to school for. So I got to a point where I almost wanted to just give up, forget it. I'll just graduate and then I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and see what happens from there. But, fortunately for my wife kept telling me no, you're not going to give up. You're going to keep applying. Something's going to happen. You're going to persevere through this. And lo and behold, that last semester of school, I kind of started to get a few bites, and that's how I was able to land my internship and ultimately get multiple offers to kind of transition into the career that I actually wanted to do once I graduated with my MBA in May. So it was just more about persistence, not giving up, and just applying to things that I didn't think I would qualify for.
So
Honestly, I was shooting for the stars.
James was supposed to take his talents to Sacramento, and instead he just said, "I'm gonna take my talents down the street."
Taking to New York.
I'm gonna take my talents down the street. I want to hear from y'all, but I think James and I's story is similar, so I'm going to give a small excerpt of like my story as well. Similar to James, I was at a point where my career was at a standstill. I had been persistent about not going to grad school for years. I was like, I got my job requires a graduate degree. I don't have one. I'm making strides, you know. So 2017, I did decide to go to grad school. And I was like, all right, well, the worst that can happen is that like just to advance my career somehow, some way. And I had an epiphany, maybe like my first semester, in terms of how I did undergrad wrong. I did not do undergrad in a way that could set me up specifically to get a job to the point where I was irresistible to companies. So I know that I have a major project that I have to do at the end of my graduate studies. So I know how to do my thesis. And for those who don't know where I'm at, I'm in Silicon Valley, the Bay Area, where there is Google, Facebook, Twitter, everything is here. The headquarters is here. So I'll never forget this one story, right, where this dude that I know, I don't even know if I know his name at this point. This dude I know, like he's one of those dudes that like he walk around like he the shit, but you don't really know much about him, right? He just has that aura like don't talk to me. And he pulled up to like I don't know like a burger spot that me and my friend like Five Guys, me and my friends was already eating there, and he had the BMW with the red guts. I'm like, he got that. Like he got that, and all of a sudden my competitive nature was like, oh nah, ain't no way that he's not sharper than me, he's not smarter than me. What is he doing that I can't do, right? That prompt, I was already in grad school. It prompted me to figure out how can I land in tech, because a lot of these dudes were already in tech. Fast forward some months, I decided to dedicate my thesis to diversity and inclusion within tech, because I knew that when I began to interview with these jobs, they won't know more than me for a job that I'm applying to. So I needed to have an expertise in order to make sure that I was in the door. I got 150 denials. You know, I didn't know the game. I didn't know what was going on. So I'm knocking on the door, but I didn't know what was the sweet spot. And it took a sweet science for me to figure out what it was that I needed to do in order to get their attention. And once I got their attention, that's when everything went up. But it took me to go through the experience, had the confidence to do so, not being afraid to be told no, but also like be fearless enough to be like, man, what's the worst that can happen? One of my mantras is like applications to jobs are free. You can do these things all day. And if you don't let the mindset of like the denial emails, those emails to like stop you, then you're fine. So I empathize with James on that because, you know, at some points it's
True.
like, what am I doing this for? But
and it's tough, man. I get like, you know, it's like when I worked in sales for a long time, so like I'm okay with a no, right? I'm used to hearing no. When you work in sales, you just got to become used to that. But when you feel like you spent money on going to graduate school,
facts,
right?
Facts.
It's like, listen, no, like something's gonna happen from this, whether
Yes.
these companies know or not. Something's gonna happen from this, and I'm going to need something to happen. So you definitely persevere through everything, because you got like, depending on your background, of course, but you know, a lot of people get no's, and those no's, they hurt, but you can't let them, you know, get you down.
How about you, Cleveland?
So for me, I think my perseverance, I want to apply it to a different area of my life. So like in terms of my career, I've definitely had to persevere. I literally after college had a couple jobs. One of those jobs was literally working in a retail store selling paint.
I remember good old days.
Good old days, man. Feeling kind of down on myself, like you graduate college and then you go to work and you're wearing a shirt with your name on it. You got paint stained clothes. You don't really feel like accomplished. Your friends are going to work with suits on, and I got on like these dingy khakis and a shirt that has my name printed on it. It didn't feel great. In regards to my career, I've been able to now transition into the tech space as a product manager, and I had to be persistent. in order to make that happen. But in terms of like my persistent story has really been based upon my purpose, like what I feel like I'm called to do on this earth outside of my job. Of course, I want to support my family. Like, so for me, where I have to be persistent and where I have to continue to be persistent is in how basically I'm allowing God to use me within my own purpose. So Var, you mentioned earlier, like I used to, I got to one point where I was always like studying the Bible, but also other books. And I would share these motivational messages each Wednesday. And I really feel like that is my calling. I feel like that's what I'm drawn to. That's what gives me energy when I do it.
Bro, you're fire at it. Like it's fire. Like I used to look forward to those joints every Wednesdays, man.
So that's an important, and I want to harp on that too, because one of the reasons why I slowed down and got a little sluggish in pursuing it as hard is because a lot of times when you don't know who you're reaching, you kind of fall back on striving for what you are really truly called to do. So in terms of like feedback, I would get like 30 likes, maybe 100 views, like at most.
Right.
But then when I stopped, like people were like, "Oh yeah, I used to watch you every Wednesday," and I'm like, I had no idea.
And
like,
why'd you say something?
DM me, send me a message, send me a text. But
that's like in the schoolyard. But it's like, you liked me this whole time?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I had one of those happen, but anyway.
Yeah, but like for me, like is what I'm learning though is like how it's so just it's about the people that you're impacting, but it's really not about the feedback that you're necessarily going to get each time you have an impact on someone. So what I'm working toward is just being more persistent with my purpose, because that's where I feel like I'll finally find peace. You know what I'm saying? And confidence and all of that stuff. So.
And I think that what you're speaking to is the fact that you have to have intrinsic values that are driving you to do certain things. And I think that for the examples that have been shared already, if we was doing it for the look, it would have fell by the wayside. Like,
absolutely.
One of my favorite things is like, what's your why? What's the why? If like for me, the why wasn't the bag. It was to elevate my ability to do what I'm doing in education and tech. I know that I would kill it. Like you have to know what your why is. And I think your why may be connected to why you're more persistent at one thing or another. But nah, I feel you. Kev or Zoe, y'all want to go?
Kev, you go.
It's interesting. I hear your story about Inspire, Cleve. Thanks for sharing. And I think I could have so co-signed with Cleve low key. I feel like persistence to me is all right. So backdrop for me is whatever I get denied at is where I draw my persistence to.
Facts.
You know, so it's like, so for me, it's just like, I can apply that to so many different things. Which one is the question? But I kind of wanted to draw a little bit away from, the career, because I feel like you guys highlight that a little bit. Cleve highlight some personal things, which is kind of dope. I think I'm going to highlight the idea of just trying to prove who you are, essentially, like trying to prove who you are, right? Because you gotta be persistent in that every day. You're gonna get denied every day. But one moment that kind of reigns on me a little bit is a successful persistent story, right? Because some aren't all successful. A successful persistent story is I wanted to. This was like junior high school, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and for whatever reason, that kid in the class, I was always drawn to. I'm not gonna say like the most diverse woman or girl at that time, at that 6'8".
I think that's the next brownest person.
Like ear.
I'm not gonna say the most. That was a good one, Kev.
So,
oh wow.
And like I had to prove that like I was solid. And I felt like I knew who I was at that level at that time. But given the circumstance, being persistent at like showing my peers that I belong here, for whatever that felt like, and it was up until like maybe the 6th, 7th, 8th grade where it was just like a moment of, I felt like, but the special moment I want to draw to is that the persistence is special because it gives you more than what you deserve. Because what happens is, you're like before I mentioned, you have a why, so you continue to push and you continue to figure it out, and you're going through it and you're persevering, obviously, but you ultimately get more for actually practicing the idea of being persistent. You know what I'm saying? So what I ultimately gained from trying to just prove my peers that like being the only black kid, I should be liked. I should be somebody's favorite. I should be somebody's Valentine. Yeah. I ultimately gained like a model of what we are in that space for my peers at that time. You know what I'm saying? Looking in hindsight anyway. So that was a moment that kind of drew me. It was just a moment of just trying to let folks know, like, I do have some differences, but we can share some of these things. And, but that's kind of what it was for me. It was just a moment of being in middle school, trying to prove to people that, that I'm whatever I felt like that I was, and that we were recorded bonding in the space together. And ultimately, I remember this one Italian girl. She's high school at that.
It's always an Italian one.
Yeah, she hit me with the, Kevin is really cute for a black boy.
How old was you?
I was 16, 17.
Okay.
I was junior. It was that moment, right? Where it was just like, but playing just the position, I didn't take it personally. It wasn't like I felt degraded by any means. I felt like, obviously, like,
duh.
But but when she said it, I knew what she meant, and but ultimately my point is that like I've showed folks that they can see through whatever the perceptions are, and throughout middle school, high school, essentially.
Well, Kevin, one question I want to ask you in terms of what you shared was, can you give me more around you saying you're being motivated by basically you're motivated by people telling you that you can't do something, right? Like, does that work for you, or do you find that it's more of a hindrance?
Good question, man. I know I said a lot, but ultimately when I thought about saying that, I also know to say that also I mentioned before that now all of them are successful, right? And so now all persistence ends in success, right? So like with that being said, like you have to know your battles. You have to know, all right, like to what degree do you continue to push? At what point do you say, like in a great example is I know someone who really was striving to play at a high level, but realistically, at what point do you say, how many no's does it take for you to say, okay,
right,
I gotta redirect, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I definitely, I definitely have that feel. Like I know, okay, at what point do I give it some time before I say you have to redirect. I mean, maybe two errors, 2 no's, or 3 no's, whatever the limit is. You have to have a limit, unfortunately. I can't say you have to. I say that.
Well, you think that for you think you know when enough, right? You like, all right, sure. Fam. Yeah, I heard you. You don't got to say it so loud. I heard you. All right.
Like you can't sing. It's like, okay,
right.
That's the you chalk that up.
And we're going to Family Matters. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like I wouldn't have got Laura, son. It would have been a lost cause. I'm not living.
You were Urkel?
Son, if I was Urkel and I live next door to you and you keep denying me, if I keep seeing dude after dude take you on dates, and no, I'm sorry.
But don't forget. Remember, Urkel got a girl. Remember, he got with Myra, and
he had Myra. But Myra was what James was talking about. Myra was the jobs that he didn't want. Sometimes Myra's a distraction. Like she just there for the, you know what I mean, for the one time.
She was a good-looking distraction.
Nah, she was. Rest in peace to Myra, by the
way. She passed away?
Yeah, years ago.
She passed away like 15 years ago.
Years ago.
Damn. That's wild.
But go ahead, Zoe. Go ahead, finish being flagrant.
Nah, I mean, since we on flagrant topic, I mean, me personally, like, I've had a lot of different. I think I'm still in my persistent and result stage right now. Like I've had him with relationship wise, like let's say I was trying to get at a person. I remember at one point when we were in school, you know, there was a specific somebody that I was trying to get at. I got friend zoned. I got I'm you know, I'm occupied by someone else.
Yeah, you was definitely King Cuddle Buddy. Definitely King Cuddle
Yeah,
Buddy.
I definitely like Netflix wasn't even out then, and I was chilling. Like,
You was DVDing it up.
yeah, what red box, like. But and then you know, y'all all know, like when finally things happen. I'm like, well, I was super persistent, and it was like I kept knocking on the door, and it's almost like when you're friend zoned and you keep knocking on the door, and then all of a sudden, the one day they're like, they either like you or they're like, well, what about you? Out of nowhere, you're like, oh yeah, you try to act shocked, like, oh, you talking to me? Well,
You talking to me?
yeah, like if you say so, like, you know what I mean, like, so I've had that.
It's interesting because, you know your friends, yo, and I know Alonzo, and Alonzo keeps record of things in his head. Like, so Zoe is the kind of person where he'll be persistent, but Zoe's why be fucked up. Zoe will be persistent just to show you that I could do it, but once I do it, okay, I'm cool now. And the experience is like, okay, so what about, like, nah, we're good here, we're fine.
Yeah, because you shouldn't have said no in the first place. Like, you denied me, so now my every move is like, I don't want to say get revenge, but like to almost like James was saying, or like to prove, like, yo,
chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, that's the athlete in me where it's like, nah, yo, you can't do that. So I was like that even with basketball in high school. Like, I got cut from the team, and then several times y'all have seen, like, I've played certain places, and people are like, oh, what school you play for? I'm like, I didn't play in high school.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so what I did in return was those same guys that played on the team and was talking all smack, like, I'm like, yo, let's play for money, like, outside of school. I didn't even have money, but let's just say I got a few pair of Jordans and some Jabot jeans back in the day.
Yeah,
all I hear is the soundtrack is Traded All by Fab. I don't know why that's in my head, but like that's what I imagine. It's in the car when you're on the way to play these dudes.
Word up. So I mean, I've had several situations, but I'll be honest with you. Right now, I think as we talk about it, my biggest persistent situation and maybe result for winning aspect is yet to come, and that's the legal lawsuits that I'm dealing with work. I got like 3 different lawsuits. I'm suing people, and they owe me a lot of money, a boatload of money. And I've had people say, oh, it may not be worth it. It's this, it's that, and just get, you know, a million different reasons on why I shouldn't do it. But I can't take no for an answer.
So I'm going to ask y'all now, give me a time where you were persistent or where you put your best foot forward and it was denied. It was swatted. There was no chance. You had to take your ball and go home.
Yeah, I never was denied, so I don't know what y'all talking about.
Oh, my God.
There's nobody want to talk after that.
As soon as he put on the peach sweater.
Hey, listen, back in my day.
Head tilt.
Back in my day, you know. Stop.
Yeah, you killing me.
I tried to tell y'all, James was shooting 75% from the field from like 06 to like whenever he met Jess. I don't know what year it was.
Only because I was selective. Yeah, don't bring it down.
Okay.
James was like Mayweather. He picked his opponents wisely.
I mean, but that's a part of it. That's a part of it. Like, if you can't cast your net real wide if you want to have a high success rate. Like, you could have a high percentage from the field if you shoot all layups. But you want to shoot threes, you got to be skilled. You're going to have to have your, you know what I mean?
Well, it's funny you say that because, VAR, we used to like, so some people are like, I guess, asteroids, right? And they aiming for the moon and they try to land somewhere in the stars, right?
Right.
So, but we used to see like,
I'm talking for the top shelf.
Like we used to see, but all right, so like we used to see people who were like bag cereal try to be the top, like.
Oh yeah,
We used to they reaching for the stuff that I felt was in the wrong arena. Like you in the wrong
son,
field.
you Fruity O's, be Fruity. You are not Fruit Loops.
Toast
you are
not
just come in the bag.
Yeah, you lieutenants, man.
Yo, you are Dr. Thunder. You are not Dr. Pepper, brother.
I just say self-awareness is everything. So I used to see it. Like I'm not saying I'm top of the line, but I knew some people that was like, it was like ordering from Wish, and I'm like, but they want the top. You know what I mean? They want like. I'm just like, yo, what is going on here? And it's kind of like, yo, you getting in the way because I'm shooting for that same thing. Like, how?
But it's something to be said about that because it takes a lot of confidence to be like, I don't give a fuck about what you saying. I'm chasing it, right? And going back to the example, this the Urkel effect. Urkel didn't give a fuck, bro. Nope. Laura was in his mind, she was bagged already. Like he manifested her. I don't even know, but like, you know what I mean? Like, but there are times where, like I said off mic, if I was Steve, bro, it would have been a wrap. I would have been off Laura. I can't continue to see her studying with homeboy, going to the dance, going to homecoming, going to prom. You know what I mean? Like, you know how many people was on Family Matters as a love interest for Laura? Lorenz Tate, all types of people. I'm on this show every day. You can't give me a shot. Can I get close?
I'm on this show.
I'm on this show every day. Every day. You can't give me a shot. I ain't trying to hear it. Come on, Carl. Come on, big guy. What the fuck? Put the good in for me.
I don't think I would have lasted. Yeah, he's stupid. Remember and it's funny you say that. He even tried to get the grandma to put a word in for him.
Yeah.
Granny was trying to hold him down.
And Laura wasn't trying to hear it. But a small part of me felt like Laura was like down to her. She was down and out. So she was like, I mean, Steve want to come up, so fuck it. He been wanting me this long, so why not just get with him now? That's the problem.
Well, see, because Steve kind of be there during the times where, her heart get broken or she's sad about something. So he kind of slide in. And that's the time where she start remembering, like, oh, he's always there for me. He's such a nice person. He makes you smile when I'm sad. But in reality, he was just sitting there. You know what I mean?
That's the prime.
Place, right time.
He's playing the back door approach.
That is talk about friend zone. That's the whole field. That is the friend zone criteria. I am there for you when you are down and out. That position has rarely worked. All you get to do is hear her having sex on the other end of the door. You drop her off and you pick her up. That's all you do. That's all you do.
I can't.
But I want to hear more about when y'all been curved. Give me more. Give me some stories.
So I can think of one. I can think of one. Yeah, this is actually think of us, but back in the day, Step Correct.
Okay.
The joint Step Correct in New York.
Missouri.
Queens. Across from McDonald's.
Remember this? Yeah.
That's where that was filmed.
We had Step Correct. This had to be what 2000. That's right when we crossed 2 actually.
Set the scene, tell people. What
Step Correct. Step Correct used to be because I don't think it happens anymore. No. It was a step show that happened in New York every year.
New Year's Day.
The New Year's Day, the first year of the new year every year, and it was this big step show. Every Greek organization would step. Yeah. Huge. I mean, huge. So. We was like, okay, we just had cross in 06. We were going to go to the one in 07. So we go there. So we chilling, we having a good time, partying. And I ended up starting talking to somebody and everything seemed like it was great, right? Got phone number, right? Cool, bang. So then I just start talking to somebody else. And this is what Zoe was talking about. This person reaching for top shelf liquor, but it should be like that the majority we should be going for.
The Burnett's.
I'm legit.
You ain't nothing but
I'm legit just having a conversation.
My man said Majorska.
Like, listen, I'm trying to have a conversation, right? And just like be fun, just nothing about it. Lo and behold, that was the girlfriend. Right? So she thought she'd go back and tell her friend that, I was trying to kick it to her too. So she comes back to me and was like, oh, lose my number. I'm like, whoa. Like,
Well, at least you got that far.
Hold on. You gotta hit him with the. Don't be so hasty.
Yeah. I was like, whoa. Hold on. Let's talk about this. What you talking about? What's going on? So this telling him like, whoa, that's a misunderstanding. That was me just having a conversation. I was not, but she wasn't trying to hear it. Of course, rightfully so. You know, your friend telling you that you should believe it. But then I don't know if Kev remember this. This one Kev was living in Ewan.
She was hating, man.
Yeah, when you was living in Ewan and those nice apartments, we had one over there, and I'm in Kev, like I'm in there chilling in the living room trying to text her too, like texting like, hey, like, yo, I promise you for like 4 hours.
Hold on. Time out. Once you get to I promise you, it's
yo, I promise you.
That's persistence in itself. I promise you.
Just pack it up.
I promise you, I was going after it for like 4 hours. And she was responding too, but responding in a way like, yo, like I'm good. But I was trying to plead my case and she wasn't having it. So I just hung it up. I was like, all right, that's a lost cause.
That's funny.
That was
sometimes persistence make you look thirsty. And I had that moment where I was
I was thirsty.
Yeah.
Take a sip of water. I just thinking about that. I need to take a sip of water.
I'm
just dehydrated. I'm done.
In the spirit of solidarity, fuck it, we all taking water.
I mean, damn.
Water break.
For my man James.
Since we was all thirsty at one point.
I'm like, damn, right?
Go ahead, Kev.
Nah, but I remember having a moment, club scene.
Was this Abyss or Deco?
Might have been Abyss.
Maxine's?
No, hell no.
Might have been an Abyss movement. Something happened where somebody I was with hit me with one of those. I'm gonna grab her butt and I'm gonna say you did it.
That was
whoa. Okay, right. We didn't do that. No one did that back in the day.
I don't even know what year that was, but that's probably. But go ahead.
If we put our antennas up, I'm sure we could figure it out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'm in the moment and I'm here trying to plead my case that I didn't do that. Right, so
the action took place already.
It already took place. I'm trying to plead my case. Like I made it worse by trying to like apologize in a weird way, like by being persistent. I'm trying to clear the moment, clear the idea. Right, it's like you got a little alcohol in you and whatever it is in the moment, and it just made it look worse.
Coco Loso days for sure.
For sure, it was Coco Loso, man. R.I.P. to the Coco Loso. And it was weird. Like hearing Jay's story reminded me, like, man, it was a moment where I was trying to like plead the situation of, it wasn't me. I tried to apologize, try to clear the air, try to create a good energy, and just added fuel to the fire in a weird way. It was just like, wow, this is not going in a direction how I was expected it to go. Right?
I'm just trying to help.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to help.
Yeah.
On the same vein as Kev, right? So when we used to go out to the club, like trying to get girls in the club has never been my strong suit. If we're talking in basketball terms, that's like, I don't know.
Defense.
Me playing defense, right? It's just not something that like I'm going to give my all into. It's just, you know what I mean? I'm going to shuffle my feet. I might get it still here and there, but it's not because I did it myself. So, so the same vibe in the club. Like if I end up getting a number in the club, it is not because I worked hard, because I'm like, the likelihood of me actually bagging is real low because every dude in the club is trying to get at her. At this point, my only advantage is being tall. And sometimes that's not enough. So if we my biggest times of anxiety trying to talk to a girl was in the club, because it's like I'm already psyching myself out. I already told myself no. So I approach with the wrong posture. My posture all fucked up when I pull up, and so it's just like she look at me like, like nah, this ain't gonna work. And it's dark, so you can feel better about yourself. But at the same time, you kind of go home like, damn, son, it's fucked up. Like that's why I stopped going to clubs, because it's like, hey, this is not my vibe. But like, if you with a bunch of dudes and this is their mission, you're like, all right, let me just try. And then you're like, all right, I want to go home. Shit ain't for me. Shit ain't for me.
Did you ever
Meeting people
notice?
at clubs is not the easiest thing in the world.
First of all, I don't like yelling in people's ear, and just right when I go to say something is when the song changes and it get quiet, and then you hear my dumb ass yelling all loud, and I'm like, I'm gonna just walk off.
All you hear is, I go to Ryder.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they want you to buy them drinks just to have a conversation. I don't buy drinks at clubs.
Yeah, I was too cheap.
Son,
sorry.
that was I didn't have the money.
When I was single,
that's one thing.
When I was single, I didn't buy people drinks.
Trying to.
I was like, nah, I ain't get no drinks out of me.
But I think that we also kind of came up in the age of like kickbacks. Kickbacks was a thing, and like you could you going out wasn't like the only option. We could actually have people at the crib and people that would be there. They'll be at your house, but you didn't know them, so you could actually kind of like build. But
I ain't gonna say what those kickbacks, what another name for those kickbacks were, but you know,
what mixers? What am I missing? Oh my God!
Greenwood.
You know what?
Greenwood.
Let's go there. Let's go there because we're gonna talk about this shit on the podcast. There was a time when I was single. Around 2011, 2013, where
I wasn't single, so I was not there.
Var Hefner.
No, it's not the case.
Hey, James, did you notice how we weren't invited to these parties, right?
I mean,
yes,
I was in a relationship, so I get it.
Exactly, James.
I think I was.
You two were in committed relationships to the women that you are married to right now.
Yep.
So if you think about it, I was actually being a good friend by not inviting you to the debauchery.
Oh, I wouldn't have came anyway. You know,
I was single. I might have brought her. I like the coach. I like the coach.
Hold on. Y'all ain't hear Cleveland in the background. Cleveland was like, I was single in
2012. Word. See, Cleveland, you ain't get no invite.
I'll breeze through this topic because I'm sure that we want to move past this, fellas. I'm sure that we don't want to stay here too long. But you know, I used to live in the area where I used to go to undergrad at. So there used to be opportunities for people to come through and have a good time, and it was all consensual. Everybody had fun. You bring your own bottles. We would have bottles, and we would just chill. Nobody would stay the night. I wasn't the only man in the space. We had a few people. Everything was on the up and up, but we did have fun. It was on the up and up. We did have fun, and we'll leave that in 2013. Anyway, getting back to
no curve in there, huh?
No, there was. I could stand on that there was no curving in that space, in that environment. I'm ashamed to say they should have been more selective in their approach, but. Nah, no curving. All right, Cleveland, tell us about when you've been curved, bro.
Well, I've been curved a lot. But in terms of
yo, time out, yo. Can we give Cleveland a virtual hug? Cause that sounds so sad. His voice changed. He looked up. He was like,
low, right?
Yo, how he come on the track like that? He came on the track like.
Yo, I've been curved. I have been, but like for me,
I need love.
For me, like I guess it never. Maybe it did bother me sometimes. Most times it didn't bother me. There was only one time that I was like, and I'm talking like just meeting someone, trying to get their number, and I was persistent and I was curved. Actually, James was there. So I'll loop this in. I had just gotten out of a relationship. I gone out to Philly. I was in line waiting for like pizza or something. Yeah, it was pizza. I was in line waiting for pizza. There was a young.
You was on South Street?
Yeah, on South Street.
That one spot that's always open.
Yeah.
Lorenzo's,
whatever it's called.
I want pizza right now. So, damn, that fucking me up.
Young lady, me, we're in line. We're talking. I'm making her laugh. So I'm like, okay, I got a giggle. Yeah. I got a little laugh. So eventually the conversation, starts to boil down. And it's like, all right, that's the timing, right? The conversation boils down. So yeah, whatever. About that number. No, I'm sorry. I got a man, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So we start laughing and joking again. Like, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I don't even remember the whole conversation. I just know I gave it another shot. She gave me a number. Like a number.
A number.
Oh, God.
Oh, buddy.
Because I'm like, I asked again. I'm like, so apparently she ain't had no man or she didn't care. So I'm still kind of cold. I'm waiting outside in the cold trying to get this pizza. Horn blows, bump, bump. it's James and Jess in the blue Honda Accord they used to have. So
that was a while ago.
James blows the horn, whatever. I go over there. He had got me a slice of pizza. I don't know if he got it for me, if they just had extra, and it was like Cleveland cold. I don't know. But he gave me a slice of pizza.
It was a homeless slice.
However it went. So I got a slice of pizza, and I remember being so pumped. I was like, I just got a number on the second try. Like, I never did that before.
You out here Millie rocking in your head.
This is paid off, right? Called the next day.
Oh.
Apparently.
And the person you have reached doesn't give a fuck about you.
Bro, she just did. Cleveland, it wasn't you. She just didn't pay her bill.
That's probably
what
it was.
She just didn't pay her bill.
Try again. So I'm persistent to a point. Like, I'm like, she kind of gave me the fade at first. Then she gave me a number. The number don't work. Nah, that's it. I'm good. I don't keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it sounded like one of my scenarios I would call. It wasn't you. It was her. And the her was, she had a man. You made her laugh. She was feeling your vibe, but she didn't want to like tell you no. But she told you no by giving you a fake number. Because then she would never have to run into you again, so it wasn't a thing. You know
she was preserving her situation.
Yeah, it wasn't her. It was actually a smooth pass.
But I want to add this too for the younger listeners. This was prior to where you do that lurky shit where you have somebody enter their number in front of you in the phone.
And then you call right there.
Yeah, we didn't really do that right then and there. Like at that time, this is like you actually got a number.
But you know what's ill?
What?
You know what's ill? Nowadays, I don't even think numbers are being exchanged. I think it's like, give me your
Instagram.
IG.
Your social, right?
Yeah,
it's like, if you scroll on the IG, like, I know that's you, but they can like unfollow you or block you or whatever. But yeah.
I just wanted to make that clear because people wondering like, how did you not know it was the right number? Like, well, there was a time.
You're gonna call right then.
Yeah, we didn't really
don't want to age ourselves, but.
Yo, because dudes would be like that. Let me see if you give me a fake number. Call right now.
So listen, it's funny you say that, right? So I when I asked my wife at one point, like, yo, this is like, we were already married, but like I was just reflecting, like, yo, what did you used to do at the club? Like we sharing club stories and whatever, right?
All right, hold on, Zoe. I got to say this to the viewers because Alonzo he sets himself up for questions that he didn't want to know the answers to. So
I don't want to answer myself.
I just want y'all to know that I don't know if he's ready for whatever he got, but let's wait in anticipation. Go ahead, Zoe.
So no. So this is actually light. This is light. This ain't like this ain't like where you ask your significant other a question and you feel like you got punched in the stomach. It's not what you like. Damn, why even ask that question? And then you look at them sideways. No, this is not that one. But I say, yo, what do you do when a dude is like, yo, here, let me get your phone and enters the number? She goes, I give him the right number, but I give him a different name. So then when they call me, I'm like, nah. This is not who that is. Sorry, like, and then she's like, and then my voicemail matches my name that I told them, like, no, you got the wrong number. So I said, well, what the fuck? What was the name you used to give? She was like, oh, Melissa. I'm like, what? You don't look like no damn Melissa. I'm like, you Melissa? I'm like, they believe that shit? I'm like, oh nah, they wildin'.
I mean, half the time when you in the club or you in this space where you exchange your numbers, like, you be half drunk, like, while I'm talking all loud, the lights going. Well, while I used to say unwalkable, I mean, like, you can't go nowhere. It's a lot going on.
That's a fact.
You ever been talking to a girl and like you go to get her number and she say like, only if you can tell me my name, and you literally forgot?
Oh man!
Every time. Happens all the time.
Oh my God!
Happens all the time.
Oh, never mind. I ain't gonna put that through on the podcast.
I know what you're talking about.
Say something.
I know what you're talking about. Where somebody had the name of somebody else.
Oh my God!
And we walked off. We was like, "Oh hell!" It was a sign. It was definitely one of those red flag signs from above. Like, nope.
And that was successful. I'll give y'all an overview. So me and Zoe was partying in Philly. I think it was just me and you.
Well, we had a friend, a female friend with us.
I don't remember who it was.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay. So that makes it even worse. So Zoe had just broke up with his ex at the time, and we feeling ourselves. I don't know what it was. I don't know if we got new clothes or what, but we feeling ourselves, right?
It was the let out.
So yeah, we plan to let out, and Zoe pulls up to one girl, pull up to the other, getting some play, and then Zoe asks her like, "Yo, what's your name?" And she says the exact name of his ex-girlfriend, and I heard it at the same time, and I was like, "Oh,
we laughed and walked off.
We gotta get out of here. The fans is watching."
Yes, I laughed. Me and Bob laughed. We said, "Oh," we laughed and we literally walked off. And then our friend who was with us, a female, she was like, "Yo, y'all mad ignorant. Why y'all do that?" I'm like, "Did you not hear what she said?" I'm like, "You're bugging. I'm out of here."
No, we gotta go. It is time to leave.
You gotta know
that was a weird situation too. And that one, I felt bad because I technically curved that girl after she told me her name.
I mean, we could have a whole nother podcast on
when we curve,
us curving other people, us curving girls, because
us throwing curveballs.
Yeah, easily.
Straight.
We don't know.
Roger Clemens. But so look, let me tell y'all mine. This is a funny one, right? Being that we talking about the Urkel effect, right? So when I was a younger kid, like I'm talking like 3rd grade to like 6th grade, right? This is real like Urkel stuff, right?
But you was like smart guy back then, though. You was like,
that's what my uncle used to call me too.
Grades and stuff.
Yeah, I was always the youngest. I had gotten skipped, whatever. My grill wasn't all up to par. I ain't had the braces yet. So, I mean,
my grill wasn't.
I could understand why, like, somebody would be like, "Nah, chill, God," like, nah. So there was this one girl I was like always trying to holler at. I'm talking about 3rd grade, 4th grade. You have a little crush. You write your little notes, all the dumb stuff, right?
Right.
So, I never forget one time she actually was interested in me, right? So the rumor got to me like, "Yo, such and such like you." I'm like, "Get the F out of here." Like, I've been trying for 3 years. Like, and now Shorty like me, so I'm like, "Word?"
You call her Shorty in 4th grade? That's wild.
Yeah. So I'm gassed up. I'm like, "Oh, cool." Now at this point, it's 6th grade now. The 3 years that went by. So I'm like, "All right, you about to get ready to junior high, so you feeling, I grew up a little bit taller. I'm like 5'1" now, so so I'm like, all right, cool." Yo, it got ruined. How did it get ruined? She didn't fade me. I didn't fade her. My mom faded the situation.
What? How?
Oh, wow.
Now this is crazy, right? So this is I never would have predicted that this stuff would have happened ever. This is like why I need to write a book, right? So the girl this is, again, younger listeners, people used to have to call people's homes before there was cell. We didn't have a cell phone. At this point, this is like pagers, payphone era, right?
Sheesh. So
she calls the house phone, but we're not home. She leaves a message and says, "Alonzo, this is such and such. I had to ask you a question. Can you call me back?" Why would you say that, right? So we walk in the house, and anybody knows.
Not in Kim's house.
Thank you. So my mom is like, "Call her back. What she wants?" She's sitting right in front of me. I'm like, "What you mean?" Like, I'm even clever at that young age. I'm like, "I'm gonna just see you tomorrow at school." No, you're not. You're gonna call her back and find out what she wanted. She left a message, so obviously it's important. I'm like, "Oh man!" So I kind of I had a feeling what it was. So now I call her back, and she pretty much said like, "Do you want to be like my man or something?" Like, little kid, like my recess boyfriend, right? Like, I'm like, all right. So I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's cool. That I'm talking super flat, like no nothing,
yes,
right?
Of course.
So
of course.
I hang up the phone, and my mom's like, "So what she want?" So my dad, I felt like he knew. He looked at me and just like walked out the room. He let me.
He just left.
Yeah, he like, "Yeah, I'm gonna just go downstairs, real, give me something to eat." So then I was like, "Oh no, she just wanted something with the homework." So my mom was like, "Yeah, you effing lying." She's like, "You fucking lying." She's like, "Don't lie to me." She looked me dead in my face. I'm like, she wanted to know if I'll go out with her. My mom's like, "Go where?" You ain't got no car. I'm like, "Mom, like at this point, I'm stuck. I'm like you know, you kind of like shrinking in your seat.
Yeah.
Yo, do you know my mom called that lady house back and said, put your mother on the phone?
Oh
And
no.
was like,
Wow.
awesome. You need to tell your little fast ass daughter, blah, 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 all that.
Oh
my
God.
Nigga, I get to school the next day and everybody, like, she told everybody. And I was super stuck. I was like, yo, why did this happen to me? Like,
You finally had your shot. You finally had your shot. Y'all could have held hands at recess, and mom came through and rained on your parade.
Yo, she stole the ball and then threw it out of bounds.
Yo, but that brings me to another point where, so continue with the Urkel effect. Urkel, in order to impress Laura, he transformed into Stefan Urkel, right? He literally made himself into a cool person. Mm-hmm. Have y'all ever done something stupid and foolish to accomplish a goal, whether it's with a girl or not, in order to get her attention? Have you ever done some shit that was outside of your character in order to get a girl?
Nah.
Outside the character, so. Nah. But, you know, you do stuff like, you know, you want to have a nice car or buy new clothes or make sure you always have a haircut, right? You do those things, but out of my character, I can't think that I've ever done something like that.
I've never gone so far to pretend that I'm something or to change myself into something that I'm not. Like, I think I've had, you know, I want to put my best foot forward. Like, to James' point, like, I want to make sure I look nice. I want to make sure my car is clean, my 94 Honda Accord at the time. You know, I want to make sure it's clean and the inside is clean and my hubcaps are all on. But
midnight blue.
Exactly, that midnight blue. That joint.
My hubcaps.
Odometer stopped working at 190. I don't know how many miles.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a fact.
My odometer stopped at 190. 190,000 for those people out there.
Yeah, but like, yeah, man, like I've never gone so far to try to be something that I'm not, man.
Okay. Kev, you was gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't either. Like, not out of myself. Maybe, yeah, try to impress, but nothing outside of my like natural being.
Yeah, like me, my Stefan moment for me wasn't. I didn't go out the way, but like for me was getting my braces off and growing like to being 6 foot. So like I became it.
You glowed up is what the kids say.
Yeah, I guess it's what the kids say. Yeah, like I went through a phase, you know what I mean, and then finally I got, you know, I cut the braids, I got the braces off, and I was smiling like the Cleveland Indians.
All right, well, fuck it. Let's go there then. Let's take me to y'all Stefan moment where you just knew you was cool. You know what I mean? You walking through the halls, you know what time it is. Tell me about that moment where you like, oh nah, y'all can't fuck with me.
That's
James. I know it's a peach sweater in Atlanta.
Nah, that's way before that. If the peach sweater was a time frame, I was a late bloomer. But for me, it was 8th grade going into 9th grade. So
okay,
I wasn't the most popular with the ladies in 8th grade or middle school.
But the braids though.
But that's out 8th grade. End of 8th grade, I started growing my hair out, right? So I could start to get braids. And that summer from 8th going into 9th grade is when my sister was able to catch my hair.
Catch it.
And catch it.
No, that shit
Listen,
hurt.
It wasn't long yet, yeah.
That sound hurt.
And she was a tight braider too, boy. I swear I was bleeding a couple times. But she was able to catch it and she braided my hair and I just felt like, I don't know what it was. I felt I was going into high school and I was like this new person with braids.
Yeah.
And it was like at the time, again, this is a time where we wore 5X white tees,
absolutely,
wave cap with the fitteds, big, huge jeans. What happened?
James ain't had no cape.
That flow, or did you
had no cape?
Nah, no cape. Tied up. You got to tie it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Your Air Raids.
And then some type of Jordans or Air Forces or Air Raids, right? The clean sneakers. Mm-hmm. Stepping into high school, I don't know what it was, but that freshman year, I just started to get more attention. And it wasn't like, I was the most popular person in high school. No, not by any stretch. But comparison from what I was.
But your confidence has always been Teflon, son. Like, I really want to tell the story of like when me and Zoe met James the freshman year. Like, who is this dude, son? Like, who is he?
No, that was a whole nother glow up from high school into college. That was like another
son,
stage.
James had the Palm Pilot, the Bluetooth.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
I don't
James
know
is a
who I
whole.
was.
Kev, tell me about the time when tell me about your glow up when you was throwing 60-yard passes in high school. Tell us about it.
Nah, the glow up was like no lie, 7th grade. Like and those 3 transitions that James was kind of proclaiming because there is like a middle school glow up right before high school. But then you get thrown into the weeds. But 7th grade was the glow up was where it felt like I was, more athletic. I kind of got into my body.
And that's when you were cute for a black guy at the same
time. Then was sophomore year in high school again. Was kind of like I kind of had another spurt. Kind of got a little more attention. It's always like this for me. It's always like come in, subtle, observer, low key, no one knows, quiet, and then it's always a year 2 is when or the next thing, right? Where it's like, oh, ta-da, that's who that was, or that's
like you've been here this whole time,
bro. Yeah, what Kev just said is the epitome of literally what happened when he came to TCNJ.
Yo, son,
my freshman year, I'm in class with I'm not gonna name all the people, but we're in calc, and I feel like I'm the man and stuff. And then
that's how we click. That's how we click.
Promise you, this dude walked into class, and I promise you, every girl who I'm around was like, "Oh my God, who was that? Who is that?" I'm like, "You gotta be shitting me, man!"
Stole your thunder.
Funny thing is, I never really
came
hated.
In,
I never
man,
knew.
Quiet, everything.
But look at how he's talking now. He said the crazy thing is, I ain't even know.
I did it. That's the thing, and that's the James's point is I'm coming in quiet to preserve myself, because I don't know what the perceptions are, so I'm coming in on some super in myself spirit, right?
So you, Laura, keeping it real. That's what we're saying. You the prize.
I'm not gonna say that, but but that's just with that, right? So my glow up moment is always the next thing. At TCJ, we could talk about that. Like after that next semester was like what it was even at Morgan for me. Like after that freshman year, that spring was when it was just like people start recognizing me. I start getting a little bit of attention in class, like whatever have you, whatever. But Globe was always the next. I'm never going in for the kill. I'm always like in the shade or in the shadows or out the way, and then it happens.
I feel like James set a nice little precedent. Hey, yo, Cleveland and Zoe, you want to talk about when I stepped through and everybody was like, "Who's that?" You going?
James, appreciate you.
When you had the Nets jersey on,
I know that. I knew you was going to go there. Go ahead, talk about me.
Go ahead,
Zoe used to call me what, Nets jersey or Jason Kidd, because I had a Jason Kidd throw. And it wasn't a throwback. It was an actual
swingman.
No, don't you disrespect me. That was an authentic. No, son.
Swingman that time.
I might have wore that shit 3 times a month, but that shit was authentic, man.
Can I tell you how poor we was in college?
Clean though.
Yo, shout out to Todd and that velour that he wore every other day.
Oh, stop it.
Bar had with those low retro 12s, the taxis.
I still hate those shoes to this day.
It's like people had like the Doug Funny closet. Like we didn't have no money. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just sneakers and like the rest. That was the only thing that changed was like your kicks.
Nah, fuck that. Hold on, Zoe. Since y'all wanna big me up. These niggas, Alonzo and Cleveland, used to share hats. So now,
but we had double wardrobe. We had the same size shoe. We had. Listen, man, we lived together.
We had hats though, so we would wear.
We had like 45,
based
50
upon whatever outfit we had on. So like whatever.
I knew.
I suspect.
I knew.
No, but it was bad a couple of times because I wore. Go ahead.
I know his hat game was different when he had a Minnesota Timberwolves joint that I had never seen, and I was like, where do you even find one of those?
I'm still into hats, but I was so into hats. I had the new era. I had the pinwheel style.
The pinwheel joints?
I had the regular joints. I had white ones. I had black ones. I used to get all the colors.
Yeah, I had the hardwood classics with all. Remember the joints with all the teams, and they used to match it with them jeans with all the teams on it.
Yeah.
I never had the jeans because I was too cheap, but I had the hat.
And Zoe used to have the the dual color NBA headbands.
Oh, and don't forget
Lord
with the dual do-rags. Don't forget the two-tone do-rag. Like,
And we wonder why we got
could-
curved.
Yeah, I could never do a dual color do rags was a no go.
Listen, I had the
Nah,
listen. You ain't had the outfits I had. You ain't had the outfits I had.
Nah, bro.
You know what I mean?
Listen, outfits was strong, man. White tee, black tee.
That's
red
not
tee.
an outfit, Doug. Funny.
Listen,
That's a uniform.
White tee, black tee, red tee, or jersey.
That's a uniform.
Some jeans and a different pair of sneakers for each one with a matching fitted to match either the sneakers or the jersey that you have
and
on.
a Bluetooth.
And hey, listen, don't get mad at me because I was high tech.
Yo, James set the tone.
I had the Pocket P. I had the Palm PDA or whatever it was called with the
Palm Pilot joint.
This when Bluetooth first was released.
No,
Yeah, this before all the old guys, before all the old barbecue men started wearing them.
Yeah, this is before all of that. So when I had it on, people was like, "Oh, what's that?" I'm like, "You can talk hands free on this bad boy." Listen,
that's when hands free was a thing.
Technology was my thing back in the day.
Nah,
right,
James
so-
that was my differentiator.
Var, I would say, when would you say your glow up was? Like, I would say, because sophomore year was, well, freshman year was when we met you. Me and Cleveland were sophomores.
Dale was sophomores. I was a freshman.
Yeah. I mean, I would say probably going into, I would say after your freshman year. Like, once
So
you
about to
started
say, when you
making
moved to California, that's when you got, that's when
Nah, y'all all wrong. All y'all wrong.
I was gonna say that, and then after Kappa, like I say, before Kappa was when everybody started to know VAR. He was playing ball, everybody knew what time it was.
No.
He had a rep, and then afterwards, I don't know. What you think, Kev?
Well, Var's glow up was after he graduated.
Oh, that was second glow up. We talk about the first.
Yeah.
One.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I didn't know VAR before.
Yeah.
Right.
Kappa, and I could see like VAR glowing up around that space in that moment. I could see like you having a growth spurt.
I think after Kappa provided like a little boost of like confidence. It's like it has to be there for it to be sustained, right? Like it can't be like
for sure.
Yeah,
but VAR was quiet. He was usually quiet.
I feel like Kappa gave me an opportunity to like meet more people. Like, don't get viewers, don't get it fucked up. I was still popular. I just didn't talk a lot, but I was always around. I was always around the people, but I was just
bully when he became a Kappa. Let me tell you about Var. He ain't like me when I was in interest trying to become a Kappa.
That was AZ. I fucked with you.
No. So obviously, everyone's an interest, right? You have to be an interest to join an organization. So this is when there was a party at the U House, and Devon was inviting me to go.
I remember this.
And we coming out the student center at TC&J, right? I know that was, but we coming out the student center at TC&J, and Var like to Devon, don't even talk to me. I'm standing right there. Like how is he coming? And Devon like, what are you talking about? He's like, he not driving with us. And I'm like, I got my own car. What are you talking about? Like,
I remember that, and we got to the party, and it was nobody there.
Yo, yeah, no, that was like a terrible.
I'm mad. Vaughn said he not driving with us, and it wasn't driving.
It might have been a small window where my act was writing. It might have been a small window.
The act legend.
Bro, but yeah, to Kev's point,
this is disrespectful.
I think the biggest glow up that I had was definitely like 2010.
Oh yeah.
To like when me and Kev was in West New York heavy. That's when it got. That's when we understood that we were the prize, so to speak. Like we didn't really have to go out of your way to like talk to girls because it was just a thing. Like you kind of exercised your aura. But Cleveland, tell us about your glow up, brother.
Man, I had a couple
last week.
I was in 8th grade. I was chubby, man. Like I was chubby.
I was chubby in 5th. I can relate to that. Yeah,
like for real chubby. Like but the thing was, I still had a lot of friends because I was funny. I could make people laugh. But in terms of like a lot of girls, like I had big round glasses. I had big round face. It just wasn't working. 8th grade, I would say 10th grade, I hit a crazy growth spurt. Like I wasn't fat no more, not because I was working out or anything. I just got taller and I stayed the same weight. So that was like a sort of a glow up. I would say my senior year of high school was when everything completely transitioned. I didn't even wear glasses no more in senior year. I had contacts. Contacts. I had my own money. I had a car, and I had jerseys. I had
he was definitely Maine then.
And two earrings. And 2 earrings in my ear. You know what I'm saying? Like so. That's when I was like really feeling myself. I would say.
And you was driving down the road to Jaquan Hood Hop. I can see it.
Oh, look, wearing Deodoras.
God, wearing them Deodoras, yo, them doors are fly. So I had my '94 Honda Accord didn't even have a CD player in it at first. So I used to have the little tape.
The tape joint.
Man.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yo, we are really aging ourselves. I guarantee. Ask any one of these young people about that, yo. They don't know. They won't know what that is.
You had to have the compact disc joint with the little cord.
Player.
Man,
that was aux before aux.
So I had that joint, and then I finally got a CD player in there. I think I got that like right before I went to college. I would say my next joint was really, I would say 2011. Like after I got out of a long relationship, like.
Well, that's the best.
Yeah. It was like best. I just started realizing who I was. I'm like, yo, like
you shake that rust off.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. So I would say that's the next one. Like glow up in terms of like, you know, just being more confident in my own skin. I would say that.
Sure.
All right. So we're gonna wrap up this episode. We've been talking for a long time. We're gonna end on this point. We're gonna give it to Zoe for the serenity prayer. Give me your glow up soundtrack. I feel like everybody had a song or like an album in their head where they just like, nah, when this was out, I was fly. Give me your glow up album or song. James gonna say Slim from 112, so fly.
Nah. I don't know. I'm not good with music. I'm not good with pairing music and stuff like that.
Glow up song. I mean, I guess.
I can start because I got mine on deck. Mine was, and I think Kev understands where I was in this, but TM 103, Jeezy, that album, whenever I think about that album, all I see is New York skyline. That's all I remember. So yeah, I would say Jeezy, TM 103, Thug Motivation. That
I would say G Unit. Well, not G. I would say Lloyd Banks. I'm so fly. Like that 03 time, like 02 to 03, something in that era. Like I mean, I was getting compared a lot because of the fitted and just being light skinned. All light skinned people look alike for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I had the Banks like kind of comparison, so I was like, oh yeah, this is me. I'm feeling it. You can call me Banks. I ain't got his money, but you can act like it. Let's go.
All right. So for me, obviously, like, and again, people who know me know I'm more of an R&B type of person. Right. So R&B it's like compared to like a year, then like the album when Neo album Year of a Gentleman came out. I felt like that was like in 2008. I was transitioning from a relationship, kind of lost that relationship weight. Going into ATL with the King sweater, like that was that year. Going, you know,
you was motivated, you was motivated.
Yeah, that would have been mine.
That's a good one.
A long time ago.
That Neo.
That album was dope, by the way.
Bring us home, fellas.
Yo, I'm gonna pick an odd song because it wasn't playing at the time where I was during like my initial glow ups.
What was it? Melodies from Heaven?
Melodies from
Melodies. Right.
That's standard. But like wasn't playing during the time, but it just makes me feel like it's like my theme music, and that's a classic, man, Jadena. I feel like especially the remix. Like I just feel like, oh yeah, like I feel like
I can see I can see you move your legs to that song. I can see you. I can see you on the dance floor.
little shuffle.
I shared rug back in the day. You know?
I cut my share of rugs. You sound like a slave. I cut my share of rugs.
A slave, though. Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would say Lloyd Banks, and then when I got a couple of dollars, I would say Miguel and what's his name? How Many Drinks? Because I was actually buying drinks then. I felt good about myself.
Big spender.
Big spender.
Bring us home, Kev. What's your soundtrack?
Man, I was gonna go with the Soul Tape. Only because that moment I remember things were just felt like
clicking.
Yeah. But the Soul Tape will be like the album of the theme, Soul Tape.
Yeah, man. That was fire. That was fire. We're gonna pass it over to Zoe so we can get on out of here for the Serenity Prayer.
Well, first and foremost, I want everybody to have a good week going forward, have a balanced week. And I'm actually, today's episode, it made me feel good just reminiscing on times where we were carefree. We didn't have no real bills. No. I had no kids. You know what I mean? I didn't really care. So it was a good time. And it's always good to reminisce because most of that time I spent with you guys. So definitely want to bring that back. And going forward, we want to say, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
And with that being said, we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.